Yo, what is up guys? Del Boy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So this video is a quick preview for Diaz versus Javier Fortuna. This fight goes down on the 9th of July, so tomorrow. Takes place in Los Angeles, California, and it goes down on DAZN both in the UK and USA. Now, I was going to make a prediction video for this fight, but ultimately, I've just not really had the time, to tell you the truth. You know, when I do prediction videos, I like to rewatch fights and really think about the stylistic matchup, but, you know, I've just not really had time to do it, to tell you the truth. I will also actually run through the undercard on this preview, but I thought I would do a video because I think it's a fight that deserves some coverage. I actually really like this fight. First and foremost, I like both guys. I like Javier Fortuna. I like his style. I like the aggressive nature of his approach. And I think Diaz is one of the more underrated fighters below lightweight. I think he's really well put together. Decent technical boxer. He's one of those guys that does everything well, but doesn't really excel in one area. So he can box from distance. He can fight on the inside. He can trade. He's got a nice guard, a nice jab, nice movement, nice fundamentals. He's not really got any glaring weakness, Diaz, and he's actually very tough as well. Just really well-rounded as a fighter. And I think when you match his style with a pressure fighter like Javier Fortuna, I think it's going to make for a really good fight, because I think Diaz will at times have to fight Fortuna off of him, which is going to make for some great moments in this fight. And yeah, I'll be honest, again, I was planning on making a prediction video for this fight, but I can tell you, I would be very, it's a very difficult pick to make, no matter who you pick. So I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. I could see either guy winning on points. The only outcome I don't really see happening in this fight is a knockout for either guy. I think it's going to be very competitive throughout. One worry I do have for Diaz is that, is he really a lightweight? He started his career at featherweight, then he moved to super featherweight, and in his last fight he fought Rakhimov for the IBF title, and he missed weight badly in that fight. And since then he's moved back up to he's moved up to lightweight. So this is now Diaz's third division. He's never one of those guys who comes in cut or super ripped or anything like that. So I do wonder whether Diaz has been a bit lazy and he's basically eaten his way up to the lightweight division. That is a bit of a concern, I've got to say. But all in all, I do believe Diaz is the more naturally skilled fighter. I think he's got more about him. He's better put together. He's got more variety to his game. But if he can't deal with that forward momentum of Javier Fortuna and that strength of Fortuna, then he's in for a really difficult night, because Fortuna's one of those guys who doesn't really stop. He's not scared to get dirty, lead him with his head and things like that. He'll make it a real dogfight. So it's going to be interesting. It really is. I said I wasn't going to make a pick, you know, but I'm leaning towards Diaz on points. But again, I wouldn't really be surprised to see this fight go either way. I think it's going to be very competitive throughout. It's going to be a really good fight in my opinion. Fuck it, I'll say Diaz on points in a close fight. That's my prediction. See, you've still got a prediction out of this video. But yeah, I like both guys, like I said. I think both guys bring their own attributes to the table, and when you match those up, I believe it's going to make for a really, really good fight. And yeah, I highly implore you guys to watch this fight if you're around. Very good fight. Very, very, very good fight. And this fight actually is for the WBC interim lightweight title, which was once held by Ryan Garcia, I believe. So there you go. I never knew that title was vacant. There you go. Never knew that. You learn something new every day. Also on this card, we've got the return of Gilberto Ramirez. He's now signed with Golden Boy. And yeah, this is a Golden Boy card. Gilberto Ramirez, a 41-0 light heavyweight, former WBO super middleweight champion, and he's fighting the trial horse of the light heavyweight division, Sullivan Barrera. Now, I fully expect Gilberto Ramirez to win this fight comfortably. Barrera these days is past his best, long in the tooth, etc., etc. he'll put up some resistance early on in this fight, but ultimately I think the taller, longer, fresher Gilberto Ramirez will be too much for Sullivan Barrera, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Ramirez stop Barrera late on in this fight. But yeah, we need to see more of Gilberto Ramirez. As I said, a former champion at 168, and in my opinion, you know, not many people are really talking about Gilberto Ramirez, and rightly so. He's not fought in, you know, recently, and people have forgotten about him. And even when he was fighting, people weren't really impressed with his competition. But me personally, I've always rated Ramirez to some extent. I think he's a good boxer. He's like a 6'3" southpaw, nice guard, nice jab, good long punches, good on the outside. He can move. He does the basics very well. And with that sort of a height and reach, I think he's going to give most guys at light heavyweight a real fight. Again, I'm not saying he beats the likes of Beterbiev or Dmitry Bivol or anything like that, but I do believe Ramirez is better than a lot of people give him credit for. I believe he'll win this fight with Barrera in good fashion. And after that, hopefully we see Ramirez step up. I mean, the guy's now 41-0. If he wins this fight, he goes to 42-0. And when you look at his resume, his best names are Arthur Abraham, Jesse Hart. I mean, it's not exactly a stellar resume, and the guy's, 30 years old now, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, I'm presuming he wins this fight, and should he win this fight, after this fight, he needs to step up, because I do believe Ramirez is a good fighter. I do believe there's potential there. I think he can box, and I think he'll give anybody in the light heavyweight division a hard fight, and who knows, I think this guy could actually become a champion. For example, I'd back Ramirez over Joe Smith Jr. So there you go. But I guess it's a decent fight. It's okay. It's not too bad. I'll definitely watch it. But let's move on. You've got a couple of female fights on this card as well. Tenkai Tsunami versus Lenicia Estrada. Don't really care about that fight, to tell you the truth. I'm not a fan of female boxing. You've also got Naoka Fujioka, and she's fighting Salem Bina Oshoa. Don't really care. But also on the undercard, you've got a good fight here. Hector Tanajara versus William Zepeda. Now, I've seen a bit of Hector Tanajara fight before. He's a very busy boxer, doesn't really have the most power in the world, only got a few knockouts. But he can box a bit, he's got good volume, good engine. And yeah, for a guy who can't really punch, I actually quite like watching Tanajara, to be honest. And he's fighting William Zepeda, who I've got to be honest, I've not really seen a lot of. But his record is 22-0 with 20 knockouts. I've seen a few of his knockouts on highlights, and he looks pretty good, pretty strong, obviously hits hard. So I think this fight right here, between Hector Tanajara and William Zepeda, could actually steal the show. Both guys are unbeaten, both guys are prospects, both guys are actually pretty young as well. So Zepeda's 25 years old, Tanajara's 24 years old. Both guys are young, both guys are looking to get to the next level, and that could be a really good fight. I'll definitely keep my eye out on that one. You've also got the returners of super bantamweight super bantamweight contender Azat Hovhannisyan, who's actually quite a good fighter. He gave Ray Vargas a hard fight a few years back, so he's a good contender at super bantamweight. He's basically in there with a stay busy fight. You've got the return of Lamont Roach as well, another contender at super featherweight. He recently fought Jamel Herring and gave Jamel Herring a hard fight. And you've got a heavyweight prospect on the undercard by the name of Mihai Nistor. Now, Mihai Nistor was a pretty good amateur. He's a Romanian heavyweight, and he actually beat Anthony Joshua in the amateurs. He actually stopped Joshua on his feet. He's a smaller heavyweight, pressure fighter, hits hard, and he's exciting, to be honest. As you can see, 30 years old, 2-0, 6 foot tall. Yeah, one of the smaller heavyweights out there, but when you look at his amateur pedigree, he fought a lot of the top guys: Fraser Clark, Filip Hrgovic, Guido Vianello, Tony Yoka, Otto Wallin, Sergey Kuzmin, I mean, he fought Hrgovic numerous times. As you can see, he beat Anthony Joshua. You know, the guy's been in there with top amateurs, Erislandi Savon, so he's got a lot of experience. He also fought in the World Series of Boxing. He only got stopped once by Arslanbek Makhmudov, and that was a really good fight, by the way. If you guys can watch Makhmudov versus Nistor, really good fight. But yeah, again, he fought Alexander Usyk in the World Series of Boxing, Clemente Russo, Tony Yoka. You know, he fought everybody, really. So the guy's super experienced. He's fighting on the undercard of Jojo Diaz versus Javier Fortuna, and he's definitely worth checking out. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, keep an eye out for him as well. And yeah, all in all, I've got to be honest, this is actually quite a good card by Golden Boy and DAZN. Great main events in Fortuna Diaz, really good fight. Ramirez versus Barrera, it's decent for what it is. You've got Tanajara versus Zepeda, which could be a great fight. For female boxing fans, you've got a couple of fights as well. So yeah, all in all, I think this is a really good card, to tell you the truth, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, share your thoughts below. Who do you guys have in Jojo Diaz versus Javier Fortuna? I've got Jojo Diaz on points, but I think it's a hard fight to call. Share your thoughts below. Been your guy Del Boy.